What's up, VC? How we doing there? Alright, so I guess in honor of 666 subs, we thought we'd get a little bit devilish with our showings tonight. So it's an all metal, more or less showing. Okay. So it is what it is. Dustin was in chair a while ago, and we had a good laugh, chuckle, yada yada yada, breaking down the band on the back here of this fairly rare gem. Rare, maybe. Valuable, not so much. So it's not like a braggadocious statement. But that's a spin in the back, and no need to repeat what we got into last time. Go backwards if you're so curious. But that's that. Sorry I stated once upon a time, in town here, Pharmacy Records. I fucking love that shop. He got in a massive, two overlapping collections. One was like 80s metal, which was played but still in solid condition. I already showed that Ozzy Osbourne and some of the other stuff I got. And then a big collection of somewhat prog, AOR, hard rock, heavy metal stuff. And some was cool. They kind of overlapped, and they all went for sale at the same time. They were priced right. It's too much for me to buy all at once, so I had to be picky. And this is the result of it. And then a couple things that were in town here, or I bought while flipping for that, and whatever. So you'll see it as it comes. It's metal time. All right.
Get it.
In the exactly what I was describing of the metal, but not so metal.
Right.
All right. I mean, this is metal. I mean, this is. Speaking of metal, I mean, this is Metal Blade Records on Enigma. This band, Tattoo, fantastic name. Blood Red. This is a first press U.S. I want to say the first press European was on Roadrunner Metal Blade. So, anyways, that's that. I don't know how important that is, because how many pressings were on this, to be quite frank. They had like 3 albums. This is the debut, if I'm not mistaken. They're known for bad album covers. This is Caputo, who's a failed comic book artist. But their second album cover is even more atrocious. This album we just listened to is a more or less a side A album. The best one would be in track 3 on side 1's called Gearhead. I'm going to say that because I'm a car bro. But 44s and GTOs and being the king of the street, blah, blah, blah. And then we had a good chuckle before we were on camera of side 2, track 1, Rampage. It's like they wanted to go ballad, but they didn't have it in them.
Softballed it, but didn't. Yeah,
so it's a quasi-metal, radio-ish, not really ballad Rampage that the lyrics are going to lapse me now because music's playing in the background. But anyways, these bros. Look at that stellar and some. In fact, I'll put you right there in the lineup. You look like you're part of the band. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's not an everyday find, and outside of a hole punch, this is tremendously good condition with the original insert, yada yada yada. I'm driving faster for your love. I gotta have some more. I might be taking chances, but I need to feel your touch. Yada yada yada. Rampage. That's but not like the video game.
No.
All right.
Not like
nobody needs that.
I gotta have some more.
All right. So I've been guilty in the past of showing the lighter side of metal, or classic metal, 70s, early 80s metal, Priest and Maiden, and not showing a little bit of the rougher stuff. I don't know how rough this is, but this is death metal with some thrash tendencies. I know if you look it up, they'll describe it as thrash.
Yeah.
But it's not full-blown speed metal, but when the guitars get to riffing, it's more like classic metal hard rock, deep in the fret stuff. But it's not like full-blown like, it's not like maniacal shredding or anything. But Horrific is the band, if you can read here, Your Worst Nightmare. This came out in 2009. I want to say this is a one and done. That was on
the album cover.
Yeah, it was on CD only, and then I guess it warranted a 2017 pressing on vinyl. Of course, I like the custom center labels for this, which is neat. But apparently they press this on like a split lime green and black and blue and black and sunburst and splatters. I got the one that's all black wax, which isn't gonna. It's not like I'm gonna actively seek out a replacement because my wax is black. But yeah, if anybody gets down with this ruckus, by the way, I mean I hate to be a stickler. You know, I just noticed this. The time on the alarm clock is 666. I guess that makes sense with we're doing this for 666 subs. But at the same time, technically speaking, that's 706. So, if we're being
just to be that guy.
If we're being literal. But yeah, it's death metal, kind of growly. There's I think Death Rock and Brain Drain on the A side has a little bit of that kind of suicidal silence where it's kind of like gravelly, and then it's but I'm not a metal vocalist, obviously, but it has a little bit of that, and then it's just what you it's Satan's taken over. Satan's the best thing ever, but it's tongue in cheek and it's fantasy, but it's zombies and the apocalypse and the Walking Dead and we're all crazy and there's a parasites and etc. So it's that kind of shenanigans. All right, now we're taking a hard left. We're going from death metal, and your boy still blind buys. So as I said, there's some AOR-y proggy type stuff that came in this collection, right? So let me just cover my face while I show this because I think this album cover is stellar. But this is a Canadian band called The Hunt. All right, they're Canadian rock. I want to say from Ontario. I can't recall. Side note, I'm going to interrupt myself here. If you know anything about hunting, if your arrow makes the ground and there's no blood on the arrow and the feathers are intact, you're a bad shot.
Yeah.
So if this album's called The Thrill of the Kill, this motherfucker isn't killing shit. But that's just that. The album covers on this band, I want to say they had 3, and they changed their albums. They kept on, like, if I'm not mistaken, I did a little bit of research when I first heard this. I bought this on the merit of the album cover. All their albums covers are awesome and amazing at the same time, so to speak, by my opinion. But I had to know it. But I should have known that this is their 3rd and final album, and they kind of lost all critical acclaim and were falling off. And they kind of went from like hard rock, classic rocky to AOR proggy. I should have known that because anyone correct me if I'm wrong. But does anything rock on the Passport label? I'm not saying that if you like eclectic finds, there's probably a good chance you're going to find some music of value on Passport.
Right.
But off the top of my head, I can't think of anything that fucking rocks on Passport. So, if you were going to give this band a go, I'd say start at album 1 and then work your way from there, if you so please. But some Canada music, some Muzak, if you would, right? So, I guess another thing I wasn't even thinking about before I pass it off, not that it ends, but there's one of the worst covers ever in history of Arthur Brown, Fire, that song. They covered it, and it is not good. Arthur Brown's this crazy wax.
Not quality.
No, not so much. Before, not so much at all. But before Kiss and King Diamond and these face painters, Arthur Brown was this crazy British guy that kind of like did like psychedelic proto-metal almost. I mean, metal's a stretch, but it was also in a day and age where metal didn't exist.
Yeah.
But really weird, whacked out music, and he was on like a, I want to say like a British version of like
Shrooms and Acid.
He's out there, but he used to paint his face black and white, and he had like this headdress where you'd set his head on fire, and he'd wear like big sweeping robes
Definitely
and kimonos and like swing all around.
I know exactly the genre you're talking about for that time.
Yeah, gnarly shit. And that AOR, I Wish I Was on the Radio, soft prog, we can't bring the gusto metal, is not Arthur Brown. All right, the next thing here, I had to do this. Now, when I say there were some like complete lineups of a whole bunch of stuff, I was talking to Aaron the Middle Theologian when this happened. I sent him a record his way. I don't even recall what it was, some rare gem that he got a hard dick for. Remind me if you're in the comment section, Aaron. But there's a bunch of stuff there. And then I had to leave some behind. Because I don't need the whole collection of Keel. Alright? If you don't know Keel is Ronnie Lee Keel. We'll get to that in a minute. But he was the lead singer of... lead singer and guitarist. I want to say his rhythm guitarist was Steeler, which was a one and done. And that band's famous for Yngwie. When he first moved to America, he was in that band. That's neither here nor there. I think if you were going to have any of this in your collection, it'd be that Steeler album. And this Keel album is on Shrapnel, if I'm not mistaken. I guess I could look at the back here. But here's a label you might not see every day. Is the Shrapnel label. So, wow. These bros are just... Take it in for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I'll leave the dissecting things to Aaron the Metal Theologian, because I'm tempted here, man. Man, these hairs are crazy, but the giant eyebrows and the fact that he just has like a saran wrap denim dick in all his album covers is stellar. And this dude's clearly trying to like lock arm to give you like as much tricep and like forearm action as possible, but it's just not there. You know, but he's a drummer. He should have a nice set of arms.
Yeah, he should.
All right, we're getting sidetracked here. But so Ron Keel, he was famous because in the 90s, when the alternative came in and hair metal died,
yeah,
he had this interview where he's like leaned up against a fence or against a horse or sitting on a fucking pig or some shit. And he's getting interviewed by
something that seemed organic at the time.
Tabitha Soren or Kennedy or whoever was in the MTV female VJ at the time. He's just like, I just need to get to my roots, you know? I'm going country. And so Ron Keel, whatever his real name is, like, you know, not even Ron Keel, it's like Raylan, blah, 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 who fucking knows. But he turned to Ronnie Lee Keel and made a couple country albums that went nowheresville.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? Like, just where the country music's played, Nowheresville, USA, is exactly where his albums went, into some dumpster fire and deep in Nebraska or whatever. I have no idea. But so, it's really crazy. But Let's Spend the Night Together is the cover, if we're talking music. Man, that A-side went by quick on that. But
yeah.
I'll just keep on yapping and then we'll move on after this album. So Ronnie Lee Keel, he went country. And then he tried to hybrid the two. And he got these like two like forearm tattoos that, if I'm not mistaken, say Metal Cowboy. And so now he rides on, Bon Jovi always already took like, on a steel horse I ride, Wanted Dead or Alive. So he's Iron Horse. I want to say that wasn't even the name of his band, but Ronnie Lee Keel and Iron Horse.
Real original.
Metal Cowboy.
Metal
Cowboy. I guarantee you that motherfucker's got 91 iRock Z. But from back in the day when times were good. But we're yapping about nothing. They catch you on the B-side. All right, back again. Listen to them Valentines talking about rocking you to the ground. But on to the next album. We're hanging out. Hopefully this is fun, but two of us are hanging out having a drink, so this might fucking turn into a... I'm just swearing for no reason now, so clearly you can tell I've had... I'm not like buzzy, but I've had just enough.
You stuttered on buzzy.
And I'm shut up, you I stutter because I was a born stutterer. I've done been learning good like since then when I had not done what I do now. But
well said.
Anyway, intentional. But train of thought is neither here nor there. Oh yeah, it's bedtime and I have a drink or two, so vocabulary is going out the window. I think it's something we touched on last time. But Wishbone Ash. I've heard a couple people speaking on Wishbone Ash recently in the vinyl community, and then once again there was multiple. I mean, there was like 8, 9 Wishbone Ash albums there. I can't buy everything. I'm not made of money. So you have to like choose and pick and choose. So this is deeper. The earliest stuff, of course, that's where I want to discover a band. The stuff that I know Wishbone Ash goes back to the late 60s, early 70s. This is like their 11th or 12th album into the 80s. So I don't know where this falls in the hierarchy. I might have to rely on the vinyl community to tell me what is better. I know they changed labels multiple times. I don't know the key players in this or anything of importance or significance. It might be lapsed to me. Whatever, custom label there, blah blah blah. But yeah, I had to grab this because this looks like a janky rip-off, misproportioned 55 to 57 T-Bird. I know there's alternate cover that has a split bumper Pro Street Flame Job 70 and a half Camaro. So I'd have to go with that cover over this one. Right. I didn't find that cover though. Whatever. What I'm getting at,
when I walked up on.
What I'm getting at, Vinyl Committee, I haven't even listened to this one yet because all this other metal I've been consuming, I haven't gotten this one yet. But in the massive catalog of Wishbone Ash, where should I go from here? All right. But that's really what I was talking about. And then I actually did make myself a little note here because I couldn't recall this. Wishbone Ash, when I was looking them up, a little bit about the band, so I'm not just completely talking about my ass. It says here that Wishbone bands that verbalize that they were influenced by Wishbone Ash includes Iron Maiden, Van Halen, Lynyrd Skynyrd, Thin Lizzy, Overkill, Opeth, and Dream Theater.
Really?
Really. So they're doing some right. I have a feeling like I'm a little too deep in the catalog with that one, but it's got a car. Me like vroom vroom stuff.
Me like vroom vroom.
Yeah. So whatever. I'm a big dumb monkey. All right. So
Don't say that.
I got the what? You can't what?
You're a big dumb monkey.
I'm a big dumb monkey.
Don't say that.
Why not?
Cause
I'm a smart gorilla. You know?
Why you gotta pick an ape now?
What? Because I'm half an ape. All right. Anyways, but back on track here. You know, I can't pick on myself. My friend's gonna. I'll just bash on you for everything in the world.
But I'm cool with it.
Yeah, man. How do you feel about the Redskins changing their name? You know, the Redskins are
ridiculous.
Their name now is the Washington Football Team. Yeah. I was just curious because you're part native, so I didn't know if you were like, oh my god, I'm so offended by Redskin. You know I find offended by Redskin? Just soccer moms.
Yeah, it was
just like, and like Honda minivans and Mercedes-Benz SUVs
who have too much money.
Yeah, their daughters in gymnastics. You know what I mean? Like, that's who's really... Anyways, side note. All right, this is what you get when you're hanging out with us. And I might have been teasing you for some time here, right?
You tossed off.
So, I mean, you and I have gone... We've gone all the record stores around here, but yeah. I got Horizon. I flip through their metal, but very rarely find stuff. And I've been looking for this album for a while, and it was sealed as a repress, and I got it at Horizon. You know, I was like, whatever. It's something I really wanted. Prior to that, the only one I got this one at Pharmacy. Again, side noted here. The Warning. This is their debut. Probably, let's call it 84-ish, maybe 85.
Okay.
Queensryche with the Y that doesn't exist in any language, but has like umlaut over it. But so I bought this repress, right? And then I heard a couple people in the vinyl community complain about the audio quality on this, and it's like low and muffled.
Okay. All
right, and we listened to this earlier. Now we didn't listen to this pressing. But one thing I have to say is to this Capitol, I love what Capitol's doing right here. If I'm buying a brand new record, and especially if it's a classic record, throw a fucking hype on it. I'm a shrink guy, so I'm pro hype sticker. But this is cool because it has the original style inner sleeve with lyrics and information on the back of it. That's not being used. It's an option if you wanted to, but that would have came with the original, so they do it. But it's got a poly-lined sleeve in it. It's 180 gram. It's super clean. Now, my complaint on this, I love the packaging. All that's great what Capitol did here with this limited edition that doesn't even have a number. So they just, hey, trust us. We're limited edition. I'm not done with that. Oh. Okay, you're good. I'm about to get to that. So I grabbed this, and then the audio quality on this just kind of sounded low and muted. Like we had this turned, we had the stereo turned all the way up to there's almost like a reverb humming because your stereo's jacked up. And it's just kind of muted. It doesn't sound awful, but it's just
sound bad. But
so it's just slow. But so this is the thing that's weird. So after I got this at Horizon Records, when I was flipping and I was buying a bunch of stuff,
right?
Frank had a guy who came in, and he was just some guy who's like he deals with all the time, who's a Goodwill flipper, and he dickers with them and like brings in records. And so Frank was just like slammed at this time. And the guy's just like, hey dude, what are you gonna give me? What are you gonna give me? He's like, hey man, I gotta go through these records. I gotta look at their condition, check their pressings. You already know the routine. And the guy's like, fuck it, man. Here's a big box. He's like, just give me $5. And so Frank's just like, are you serious? Or whatever the scenario, something along those lines, right?
Yeah.
And so Frank's just like, are you serious? Okay, fine then, right? And in that was some gems that I didn't really care about, but they're money makers. Well, more than $5. So in that mix, I've never had a Goodwill find worth a damn. But the record we were just showing, that Operation Mindcrime, which is a, whatever, 2017-ish, 18-ish repress, this is an original OG. Now, I don't know the details of if the original jacket was lost or what have you, but this is a 99-cent Goodwill find that someone bought. They brought it to Frank, and Frank was like, hey dude, you're buying some stuff. You showed interest in this. Just freaking have it. I don't care what it is.
Hey.
Now, I don't know if anyone knows better than me out there if the album had a white label promo or something along that lines. This does not. It has the same label. Once again, 99-cent Goodwill. It's clean. All right, a couple little surface scuffs. Nothing that affects play. All right. There's a little bit of crackly static noise in between tracks, but that's it. Nothing you're going to decipher while playing. But I checked the dead wax.
Yeah.
It's a first press of the dead wax. And so I don't know what the sleeve is, but anyways, I literally slide that in the back of this so I keep them together. But this is my point, though. I'm getting sidetracked. If I could tie this all up in a pretty bow. For everyone that bashes on that for audio quality,
right,
this sounds the same way. It's muted. It's muffled.
So
it's just not loud. So people are blaming the repress.
Yeah.
I think it literally might be, and this is an EP. We chose the wrong record, but that's totally okay. So, and then here's another thing that seconds that. The reason I pulled this out, even though this is not technically a fresh find, I've had this for some time. Back in the day, I want to say this is a first press, if I'm not mistaken. I might be speaking out of my ass, but after I bought it, I looked it up, and I don't recall now, but I think this is a first press. I might be wrong. Maybe someone will know better than me by that EMI label. But the point I'm making isn't about pressing, because I'm not trying to claim it's one thing or another, is that Queensryche on EMI sounds stellar. All right. But the Capitol sounds awful. And this is another thing that makes me think that it might just be the pressing.
Right.
I grabbed this recently. This Megadeth. This is the same thing. Although I don't know why this doesn't warrant a hype sticker. This is sealed. It's the same thing. It's represses from the 80s. This is on Capitol. It's the exact same thing where they imitated the original inner sleeve. But it's not to be used because I love the way they did this. It came with a poly-lined inner sleeve. This one happens to be, by the way, this is heavy as hell. I don't even know if it says 180 gram or whatever. This feels like, this is a 7-pound record. But forget the little dust. But a poly-lined sleeve, blue vinyl. My only complaint besides, I don't know if you need a hype sticker. The jacket's a little bit flimsy. My point, though, getting back to it, this is 80s Capitol. This sounds freaking awesome.
Yeah.
So I want to say it's just, if anyone has a Queensryche record that sounds amazing and isn't, a low audio pressing quality, tell me otherwise. But I really do just chalk it up to however that album was recorded.
Yeah. All
right, back to this. I don't need to speak on Megadeth too much here. I mean, it's freaking Megadeth. This is their 4th album. I had this back in the day on cassette. I think I had 3, maybe 4 Megadeth cassettes that all got stolen. My dad had a custom Ranger back in the day. It was pretty gnarly, but it got broken into, and the Blaupunkt cassette deck was stolen, and the speakers and all the cassettes and yada 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 blah blah blah. So whatever's, but I guess if this is the one I bought first. There was a couple different ones, but I was like, and reminiscing, this is the one I like the most. So I went back to, if anyone has an opinion, if I'm rebuilding my Megadeth collection on vinyl, where should I go next? Please, by all means, leave your thoughts. I guess my thought on this just came to mind here. The opening track on this, Holy Wars, the Punishment Due. They got in some kind of like kerfuffle. No, that doesn't go in there. Okay. That's just the alternate. You're fine. You're totally fine. It's more cosmetic now than anything. They both used to go in here.
Oh, I got you. Yeah.
But it's all gravy. But so Holy Wars, they had a little bit of kerfuffle. They performed in Ireland or Northern Ireland on the previous tour before this, and then they didn't realize the whole religious war that was going to break out. So
fair enough.
And then the Punishment Due, also in the title, I want to say that they pulled that as a tie-in to. If you don't know, Dave Mustaine's a big-time nerd. He's a born-again Christian now. He's also a big-time nerd, but that ties into the Punisher of Marvel Comics. But yeah, random facts that maybe nobody gives a shit about from Eric Weinbender. So Megadeth, everyone knows it. And then I guess the last two things I grabbed here. Well, no, one thing. I just happen to have another thing that I flipped past. This is another thing. Let me skip. That was in that collection. I showed this when I was fucking with Mazzy. We did a collab a while ago. But this Mahogany Rush is in that AOR stuff. This is stellar because they're all a bunch of idiots picking their noses and chewing at their teeth with giant wrenches. But this Chevy Monza drag car. Hey, what was your first car in the vinyl community? Is anyone actually still watching this at 26 minutes? Who knows? But oh man, this is probably. I just realized this is probably $1,000 record. It's a gold stamp promo here. So, oh wow, look at that! Look at that label. This thing is infinitely expensive. And this guy's wearing a shirt on the back says, "Injection is nice, but I'd rather be blown." Yeah, a little car reference there.
The man makes a fair statement.
Yeah, so anyways, that Mahogany Rush was also in that ARR realm that just happened to be here while I was grabbing stuff the likes. And then you and I had a, you son of a bitch, nonsense a while ago.
Yep. And
I had this record months ago. This is in the background. Never officially made in the video. Then it was like us moving records. But this is Overkill. A lot of people put this towards the bottom of their list of what they like in Overkill. I'll be honest with you, man, of the big four and Overkill and, some of those main, thrash and speed metal bands.
Right.
Overkill is just one that kind of just lapsed me back in the day. I didn't actively avoid it. It just wasn't something that was like...
Just didn't...
Like Metallica was a part of my life. Judas Priest, Iron Maiden were a part of my life. Overkill, my buddies and bros and older brothers and etc. No one was listening to Overkill.
Yeah.
And these guys rock because they're wearing their own shirts. But... Anyway, so I never got deep into it, and a lot of people put this towards their bottom of their catalog, especially for their older stuff. But I had to grab this because it's super clean, super clean on Megaforce Records. So snagged that, no brainer. But if anyone has a recommendation on where I continue my Overkill collection from this, I'd appreciate the drunken wisdom. But that's that, man. I mean... That's awful. Per usual, I did my yapping. You got a couple words in there.
Here and there. Uh-huh. Oh, yeah.
But, bad choice on the EP. Yeah. Make a 28-minute video and play 16 minutes worth of music. Anyways, Vinyl Community, Dustin, cheers.
Salamati.
Rock on. Be well.